But I want to talk numbers, because numbers is always a big game when you're talking about investing, but there are certain numbers that are important numbers when it comes to your financial plan.
Absolutely.
And what are those numbers?
Oh, what are those numbers? I
got my bingo card ready.
Okay, all right. So let's start in chronological order here. We'll go with number 55.
Number 55.
So what a lot of people don't know is that when you turn 55, you're still working for an employer. You can actually, if you leave that employer after you've turned 55, but you're not yet 59 and a half, which is another number that we'll get to, get excited.
Okay.
All these different numbers, let me throw them all out at you at once. But that means that that's the number that you can begin taking money out of your 401k without paying a penalty. There's a 10% penalty if you take money out before 59 and a half.
Okay.
There's something else that we'll get to about that. But that doesn't apply in this very specific rule when you've worked past 55 with this specific employer. If you move that money to an IRA or something else, you might not be allowed for that rule. So what happened recently was I have a client who he was going to retire at 54, and then he was going to retire at 55, and he finally retired at 56. We wanted to manage some of his money from his 401k and start putting that in a better spot. So we moved some of that money from the 401k to an IRA, but we left a lot of that money alone in the 401k so that if he ran into an emergency, he had a place where he could take that money without paying a penalty.
Okay. Next number beyond that.
Next number beyond that, 59 and a half.
Okay.
So 59 and a half is the age where you can begin taking money out of your IRA or 401k for your personal use without paying a penalty on it. So you'll still pay taxes, don't get me wrong. You're not getting out of the taxes, I'm sorry. But you will still have to, you will avoid that 10% penalty. Also, if you are still working for your employer and you have a 401k there and you want to get it out of the employer's hands and have more control over that money, that's a time when you can do something called an in-service rollover, which again, explain.
Explain, please.
Great question. Thank you for asking.
Yes.
What I do is when I say something, I look at Rachel's eyebrows. And if they go like this,
if they go, huh.
That means I need to do some better explanation.
I need explanation.
So what that means is basically you can take the money out of the employer's 401k and move it into your own IRA.
Okay.
Now, when you have a 401k, you've got like a menu of like 20, 25 different things that you can invest in that your employer has chosen for you to be able to invest in. When you have an IRA, you've got like 20,000 mutual funds that you can be in, or 5,000 plus stocks and annuities and real estate investment trusts and structured notes and all kinds of things that you have more control over inside of an IRA. That sounds great, but respectfully, if I'm asking Rachel, hey, you have now 20,000 options instead of 20, how does that make you feel?
A little nervous.
Right. Mm-hmm. So if you're not going to be investing with an advisor, you probably should not do that.
Right. So first I'm looking at this, and we've only gotten two numbers into the big six, numbers. But from both of these, I'm not saying that you have to. You can do certain things, but that doesn't mean that you have to. I mean, it's certainly good to look at options when you get there, but these are not, there's no one, tapping you on the shoulder to be like, excuse me, sir, you have to,
Right. These are not, they're not all musts. Some of them maybe
we'll get to.
Yeah, we'll get
Our
to.
must.
You might be planning ahead and thinking what's going to be there at the end.
Yeah.
But not yet. So the next number after that, so actually, I lied. I added a number. I added 59 and a half.
Oh,
so there's 7.
That's a bonus number.
A bonus number. You're welcome, people.
That's the bingo.
You're getting extra content to that. The next number is 62.
Okay, 62. What happens at 62?
62 is the age that you can start collecting Social Security.
Okay, you can. Yes.
You can. You, it's not a must. You are not forced to, but you can. You have the ability to do that. Now, for a lot of people, this isn't a great option. If I have not been a great saver, and you know who you are, and I'm not looking at anybody, and I'm not judging anybody in the office, in the audience, but respectfully, you know who you are. You probably shouldn't take Social Security at 62. Think about Social Security like a pension. It's a guaranteed income for the rest of your life, hopefully, as long as they don't reduce it. That's another topic for another day. But do we want that pension to be as low as it can possibly be, or do we want to wait a little bit and let it grow?
So I get to 62, I don't take Social Security, then what? What happens?
Every year that you wait, the amount that you could take goes up.
Okay.
And if you're still working and you're making over $22,000, you don't want to take it anyway because you will get penalized. So
I want to take just a little detour off of this. So someone is a client of yours, they're 62.
Yeah.
and they're like, should I take it? Then this is where...
This is where the analysis comes into play, right? Like, are you retired? Do you need the money? Will it affect your tax bracket? There's something called a full retirement age. Full retirement age is when you can take Social Security and still work, which brings us to our next number.
Okay.
Which is 67.
67.
That's the age that you can collect Social Security and still work without having any kind of a penalty.
Okay.
So when you make over like $22,340, something like that, before the age of your full retirement age, for most people that is 67. For people that were born before 1960, it's earlier, but I'm just going to go with the general piece because that makes it easier for me. Then you can take it. So when would you take it at 67 and still be working? Great question, Rachel. Thank you for asking.
Yep. Glad I asked.
Yeah, no, I'm smart. So for some people, they want to get out of debt before they retire.
Okay.
So that might be a scenario where even though you're working, even though you're making more money, even though you're going to be making way less than you are when you're working in retirement, we still might get ahead of that and start to get that extra money and use it for paying down that debt. Which will essentially help you pay more, which will get you out. And again, if you have credit card debt where it's 25% or 30%, we want to take that money and get rid of it. Now, if it's like mortgage money and you're paying 3.5% or 2.5% on your mortgage, don't do that. That's not the reason. That's not what we're looking at. It's a whole different topic for a whole different day. Get excited.
Are we going back to 65?
I think yes, we're going back to 65. So what's important is when you have somebody that you're working with, for them to be able to acknowledge when they may not have been perfect. That was me this time. Sorry. Anyway, 65. What is that? That's the age at which you can begin taking Medicare. So for a lot of people, healthcare and retirement is one of the biggest hurdles for getting them to retire early. And so if you are just getting by, paying healthcare expenses out of pocket are going to be very, very, very difficult. But for our good savers, I don't want somebody to have to work an extra 3 years just to pay for their health insurance. There are different things that they can do. But one of the things that we have in our office, because I, along with admitting sometimes when I'm wrong, will also admit when I am not an expert on something, and that would be Medicare. So in our office, we'd have a retirement health benefits specialist, which will help you with Medicare, which will help you understand different options for insurance. Maybe it makes more sense for you to stay on your company's COBRA. I'm not sure, but we have somebody that isn't me, thankfully, that will help you answer that question.
So let me ask you, somebody at home is watching right now, and they're like, okay, well, you've talked about these certain ages, and I've already passed this age, I've already passed this age, I'm approaching this age. I haven't done anything yet. Is it too late for me to start? Is it too late for me to call? Is it too late for me to get my ducks in a row and move past this?
No, I think a lot of the problems that we have are overcoming some of our own objections, right? Overcoming some of our own hurdles. And the way that I get past that myself, and not that this is a self-help episode, but every time I'm in a difficult situation and I'm debating whether or not I should or shouldn't do something, I think, what would I want my kids to do in this scenario? And if they felt like, hey, it's too late for me to do something, I shouldn't even bother, or I'm just going to keep on going down this road. No, I'm going to say, no, I want you to do, wherever you are, if you feel like you should do something different, I want you to immediately do that different thing, wherever that is. And so in that scenario, I want you to have the same thing. If you feel like, hey, I don't know what these numbers mean. I don't know if I should have taken Medicare. I don't know if I should be taking Social Security. I don't know if I should be moving money out of my 401k. Give us a call. We'll help you figure that out.
That number is 844-680-1709. Okay, so we got to 65. Now we're going to jump ahead to 70.
All right. So 70 is the point where if you haven't begun taking Social Security, you should begin taking Social Security because it doesn't go up anymore after that. So from 67 to 70, the amount that you get from Social Security goes up by 8% every year. Not an insignificant amount of money. Most of us are not getting 8% on our CDs, but that doesn't always mean that we should all wait until 70. Another thing to keep in mind is that the taxes on Social Security are less than the taxes for earned income, money that you've earned from a W-2 or 1099 employee, or for money that you take out of your IRAs, which we call ordinary income. At least this one didn't have 1,000 different syllables. You're welcome. So Social Security is taxed less. And without getting crazy into the formula, because we will when you come in for an appointment, and we will go through that with you. Without getting crazy into that formula, the more of your income that comes from Social Security and the less from other sources, typically the less in taxes you pay.
Okay.
So think about it like a seesaw. If you have more of your income coming from Social Security, you're paying less taxes, and more from other areas, you're likely paying more. And there's a point when like the next dollar of income causes Social Security to be taxable, causes other money to be taxable, puts you into a different bracket than you might have expected. But that's something that we can work on. Also, we actually have a place where you can go to for the next slide. So the next one is 73, and that is required minimum distributions. So this is the one that is absolutely required, that is a must.
Is there like a letter sent to your house that's like, hey, congratulations, you're 73, you must do this now?
I don't know if there's something quite like it, but what should happen is every financial institution that you actually have money with should send you that letter.
They
that
should
notice.
notify you.
They should notify.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm sure everybody is always looking at all their mail all the time.
Right.
And we never have that massive pile in the kitchen, whatever.
Yeah.
Pile in the kitchen of unopened mail, and nothing ever slips through the cracks.
So this is the must do. So 73 is the must do.
Absolutely the must do. Absolutely something that must happen. And if you don't, there are penalties. It used to be like you had a 50% penalty, and now it's only a 25% penalty. What is that in real dollars? Great question, Rachel.
Only.
Thank you. Right. So it used to be that if you had to take out $20,000 and you did not, you were only penalized $10,000 and still forced to take out the 20. Now,
that's a significant amount of.
Oh, is that a big deal?
Yeah, I would think so.
Oh, you don't want to give $10,000 away? Okay.
No.
Not, me too. No, it's crazy. Now it's dropped to $5,000, but it's still significant. Right. So it's also difficult when you have that money coming from lots of different places. Like, again, we talked about before, somebody having 3 different 401ks, 2 different IRAs. Where do I take my money from? What's right there? And how much am I going to be actually taxed on that? So we have a calculator that you can use. If you go to howuretire.com, they're going to put it up on the screen in a minute. It's HOW, the letter U, retire.com. Maybe.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah, howuretire.com. One more time. Or you can scan the QR code. You can actually put in some of those numbers. You can put in some of those functions and see what the impact will be on your taxes. So it's a kind of a quick calculator. Huh. It's not crazy, but it does give you a printout. It does give you kind of an Excel sheet based on rate of return that you're expecting, how old you are, the money you have. So it's kind of cool. I would definitely recommend just checking it out. But it's also eye-opening to see the kind of taxes that you might be required. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to schedule a 15-minute phone call, go ahead and click the link in the description below, and we look forward to talking to you soon.